Good morning. Good morning. And welcome back to this sacred space. And what a day to celebrate being together in our sanctuary and in Reimer Hall and West Wing. I heard there's over 40 people viewing remotely across the courtyard. And to all of you at home, welcome to this special Sunday morning. Just a very couple announcements before I turn this service over to our graduating seniors. The first is that today's seminar will be on Zoom at 10:30, and that will be with Sandy Reimer, Recharging Prayer, Reversing the ABCs. Also, I am delighted to announce that Xander Kiker will also be sharing a few words this morning, and he will be speaking just before Jillian in your program. As we settle into our seats, settle into this space, I invite us to, together, take a moment of orienting prayer. And what I'll invite you to do is, as we take deep breaths together, the first deep breaths, and I will cue you so you don't have to memorize this, but so you know what to expect. The first deep breaths, 3, I would like you to notice 3 things that you see in this space. The next 2 breaths, I invite you to notice 2 things that you hear in this space. And finally, the very last breath we take, I invite you to notice something you feel. Is it the ground beneath your feet? Is it the familiar feeling of that chair supporting you in this room? Is it something deep within your heart? So as we begin, the first 3 breaths, 3 things you see. Breathing in. And 2 that you hear. Finally, 1 that you feel. Welcome to worship. And as we begin, we light the candle and ring the gong, calling us to united community. Invite Larry up to introduce our prelude.
Our trumpeters will be leading us in This Little Light of Mine. Xander Kiker is our senior trumpeter this year, and he begins with a solo in which his light shines and is shared with all of you. And then the trumpeters will join in the slow version of 2 more verses of This Little Light. After that, there will be a pause. I will invite you to join in singing after they play a verse of the faster version of This Little Light. So they begin, and also weren't sure if Carl Carter was going to be able to play with us, so his name is not in the bulletin, but we're glad to have Carl with us as well.
Growing up in church, I was always moved with the laying on of hands. I thought it was the most special, powerful thing that the church did. I remember the brief moment of awkwardness of touching someone else's back being quickly overruled by the energy of the church running through us every time we did it. One of my most prominent memories of my life in church was when I had my very own laying on of hands, right before I left my exchange year in Germany. The feeling of being at the center of this ritual is a feeling that comes to mind when I think what it's like to be a member of this church. This wondrously unique UCG vibe is something that I have felt at other church events too. I have felt it at Church on the Prairie, I have felt it on work tour, and I have felt it when we all walk in undulating circles hand in hand around my father as he plays guitar. When I describe UCG to my friends, I try to capture this vibe with words. Yeah, I wouldn't really say it's a churchy church. Yeah, we like to focus more on spirituality and self-reflection. Yeah, it's the most liberal church I've ever heard of. Yeah, we have a ukulele group, etc. So when I think back on my memories here, this feeling is often what resurfaces. UCG has always been a part of my life, and the church friends that have come growing up here have been a part of my life for just as long. From our skinny pop shenanigans and poker rings to a work tour, my friends from church have been just as important to my development here as the experiences we took part in together. I will certainly miss that aspect of the church kid life. It's funny how in the end most of us don't stray that far away from home after all. I wish I could tell you that I'm completely certain of my path, that I'm going to follow my dreams in undergrad and find my dream job as soon as I'm done. But alas, I don't know what my dream job is. Nor do I know what dreams I'm going to be following in college. What I do know is that I'm excited to say that I'm going to FSU to figure it all out. As of now, I'm going to major in art, although my mind seems to change every 5 minutes about that one. I'm hoping to double major with one of my various other interests, but which of those interests I'm going to pick, I have no idea. But I'm sure it will all become a bit clearer once I begin down the path that I seem to be heading towards. Once I do have it figured all out, I'll be sure to get back with you guys about where life ends up taking me. This church has given me much in life. A bunch of great friends, some fantastic memories, a more developed sense of right and wrong, and maybe even a little faith. For all of these things, I am incredibly grateful. I would like to say thank you to my dad, Larry, Sandy, Talia, Charlie, and Carol and Will Zagel, and many others for acting as my spiritual guides, mentors, and all-around helpers in my journey here. I would also like to thank everybody in this church for providing me with a safe place to grow up and for giving me a second familial community. As I go forward in life, I will carry with me the lessons that I've learned here and the knowledge that I will always have a home at UCG. And I look forward to spreading more of the good vibes that we share in this church with the world.
I've been coming to UCG since I was about 3 years old, so like many of you, I've been to a decent amount of senior Sundays. Every year, as I hear the graduates talking about their favorite memories and how being part of this church has impacted them, I would think about what I was going to talk about when I became a senior. I've forgotten many of those specific moments that were important to me each year, but some of my favorite ones, such as pulling an all-nighter in the Keys on work tour or playing board games at midnight on almost every overnight trip, are still in my mind like they happened yesterday. Work tours, retreats, mystery trips, and campouts are always my favorite parts of the year, and I'll miss making memories on them. In addition to the stories it's given me, UCG has also taught me a lot of important lessons. Leadership team allowed me to have a voice in the church and help me get what I wanted out of the youth group, and Youth United taught me so much more than I ever would have guessed about social justice issues. Whether it be discussions here every Sunday at church, or volunteering on a work tour, or learning from those directly impacted, UCG taught me to be grateful for my privilege and broaden my views. So many of the people here have also had a huge lasting impact on my life. Cam, Kaylee, Aaron, and Julia are the people who first made me love coming to church, and I couldn't wait to see them every Sunday on the playground. Andy and Yo made middle school group fun, even when I got older. The last thing I wanted to meant to be doing on my Sundays was waking up at 8 in the morning to come to church. Talia, you made me love being part of this community again, and I cannot thank you enough for that. From work tours and mystery trips to just working together during leadership team, you allowed me to make my voice heard and gave me countless opportunities to better myself. Even when there were times I would rather be doing anything else, you made sure to let us know that our work was appreciated and that we were making a difference. To my fellow seniors and YU members, I'm so grateful that I got to grow up with you guys and be a part of this community together. You're part of all the memories I have of UCG, and I'll be forever grateful that I got to know you. Even though I still complain about waking up early to be here, UCG has had an immeasurable impact on my life, and it gave me a great topic for my college essays. Mom and Dad, I know you thought you'd never hear this, but thank you for making me come to church every week. Because of this and everything else you've done for me, I've become the person I am today. To my siblings, thank you for being here today. I know you thought your days of Mom and Dad making you go to church were over. As I move on to the next chapter of my life, the memories I made and the lessons I learned here will most definitely be with me. I'll be studying health sciences at the University of Florida on a pre-med track. UCG, thank you for everything, and go Gators.
Everything's in order. Hold on.
Hello all, my name is Jed Hill, and today I'll be the next graduate speaking to you guys. So first off, I want to apologize for not being able to be there in person, but I hope that this is suffice. I'll be the next graduate. Hello all, my name is Jed Hill, and today I'll be the next graduate speaking to you guys. So first off, I want to apologize for not being able to be there in person, but I hope that this suffices the best that we can. So over the past year, I've spent innumerable hours writing for scholarships, college applications, and schoolwork, and as a result, I've been led to reflect on my childhood and the experiences I'm lucky enough to have under my belt already. My journey from Virginia, my birthplace, to here in Gainesville took no stop more important than the grounds of this church. I believe we first attended when I was just a little guy, maybe 6 or 7, and I immediately loved how much freedom we had out on the playground. In a good way, I promise. So I begged my dad and mom to drink numerous cups of tea and talk for as long as they wish, because as long as they did, I could play basketball and play whatever games developed on the playground. After graduating from story time that previously signified freedom of fresh air, the depth of opportunity that breathes through this church was simply unmatched, and it met my maturing mind. The concept of social outreach fired the conversation of many Sunday dinners as I increased my exposure and interest each week. I believe that being in the type of town that we're lucky enough to live in would have eventually brought me up to speed with the issues that are so important in the world, but I believe that this church and its characters catalyzed this process. As some of you may know, no purpose spoke to me like Mommy Reed's did. When you saw me hanging out at the register table of the annual book sale, a long-term project was just beginning. With the help of ministers, the ladies of Mommy Reed's, my teachers, and the congregation, I was able to contribute positively to the lives of women and children in need, and maybe even bring them some much-needed humanity. Next came a new and different level of engagement with our middle school group, highlighted by our group discussions with Mr. Andy. Due to my athletic and extracurricular tenacity, I was not always able to attend service and youth group as often as I might have liked. However, I still felt that they left an impactful impression on me and my development into someone who can converse and be a socially intellectual person. The retreats are prime examples of practicing this skill, and they provide a nice transition to some of my fondest memories. The retreats to Camp Willis and Lake Yale were times of walks in nature, good food, frisbee golf, and like I said earlier, conversation and relaxation. I generally enjoyed these from the perspective of a child, but now I can clearly understand their significance and beneficial effects for the adults of the church as they provide an escape from the real world and the work outside. In the fall, I'll be attending Vanderbilt University in Nashville, Tennessee, and I plan on studying within the scope of environmental sciences and possibly focus on policy and law applications. If these interests remain, I could even go to law school back here at the University of Florida, and I know that would make my mother very happy. I'm especially excited for opportunities to study my topics of interest in foreign countries, especially New Zealand and Switzerland, which Vanderbilt often sends students abroad to. I don't know how all of this will shake out yet, but I'm certainly very excited, and I look forward to each opportunity. And there are too many people to thank through my UCG journey, but I will try to thank the most important. My family, my brother, my mother, my grandpa, my grandfather, Miss Karen Johnson, who was my confirmation mentor and a key individual in Mommy Reed's, all of the ministers, past and present, and everyone who's ever extended a smile or a friendly word. I really do thank you. And I appreciate your time, and thank you all for supporting us graduates. Thank you.
Hello. Since the last time most of you have talked to me, I've gained a couple octaves, or lost, I'm not sure. So I, unlike a lot of the graduates, started at UCG at the end of middle school, which is okay. And I'd love to say that, UCG has been the focus, but if anything, it's really kind of been a supporting role. I couldn't ask for anything less than that, but, that's the truth. And I would love to have, this really, really pretty little story ready for you guys, but it's gonna be a little gritty. So, I started coming here in 8th grade. Everything was going pretty well, but I didn't really like going to events, wasn't really a part of the youth group. By 9th grade, I ended up taking a bit of a hiatus because I had an eating disorder and I was in a long-term facility for 10 weeks. But I got letters from you guys and it made it a little bit more tolerable. And that really helped, and so when I came back from that, I really threw myself into church more. I remember getting to go to Puerto Rico, and I feel like that was kind of a turning point for me, because before that I didn't really feel like I could do anything with my body, and going and being able to build a staircase and climb up the side of a mountain and feel like I'm gonna die, but not dying, and getting to see a really cool waterfall was totally worth it, even though it took 2 hours. And, I think that was almost my turning point of okay, I think maybe I'm gonna keep going, even though I had already been going for 2 years. And that was also when I felt like I really started to form bonds with people. I learned that I have social anxiety, which is funny, and I feel like I've been able to get past that with everybody at UCG, because I feel like most of us do, and that's okay here. And it's really, really nice that that's okay here, and it's okay to the point where, I've been able to be out and open with being trans and being awkward, and you guys embrace me and love me, and you have the entire time. COVID hit, and I kind of retreated into my bubble. I wish that COVID had just been COVID for me, but I got diagnosed with cancer. And so thyroid cancer, I got my thyroid removed. I ended up having to take a semester off of classes. I had a very long talk with Talia about whether or not I was even allowed to do this, because I'm graduating a couple weeks behind schedule. But nobody really prepared me for the fact that it was gonna be months of figuring out my hormones. And we called it lost puppy syndrome, because I was sleeping a whole bunch and I didn't have any short-term memory. So classes just really weren't feasible, but I'm finally getting through that, and I feel like I was able to get through that with people here, and I was able to go to Talia, before my surgery, and I was like, I don't know what to do. She was like, and just do what you have to do. And I was able to go to her after, and she was like, I would be sad if you weren't at Senior Sunday. So I was like, okay, that's good to know, because I honestly wasn't sure if I deserved to come. And so I'm here, and it's good to be here, and it's good to see everyone, and I'm having to remind myself that everybody here has had struggles, and that through COVID, it's okay that I haven't been here as much, and it's okay for me that school has been a second priority, because I may be a senior and I may be close to graduating, but my health comes first, and that is sometimes hard to accept, especially when you're super goal-oriented. Moving forward, yeah, I am proud of myself because I had to take an entire semester off, and I'm only a couple weeks behind. I'm finishing my last 2 classes. I am going to take a gap year because I was dual enrolled, so I'm already 2 years ahead in college classes. And then I think I'm going to do phlebotomy. I really like the idea of doing that. So, yeah. And just, I want to thank all of you for being supportive for me through everything. You guys have you have been here to lend a hand through more than you know, I think, even. Yeah, thank you.
So, as far as I know, I've never not been an atheist, but I've also always wanted to be a part of this church. I was born into UCG. I participated in my first Lessons in Carols performance as a fetus. And I think I've participated in almost every Lessons in Carols since then, going from the little baby choir to the youth choir to the adult choir. Until COVID, I came almost every Sunday, although to be honest, my mom had to make me come a lot of Sundays, but that's probably, and as we know, not unusual for a teenager. But most of the joy I got out of this church was from the things that happen outside of the service on Sunday morning. Church allowed me to serve dinner at Grace Marketplace, to make sock gifts during Christmas with my mom, to help during Family Promise. I wouldn't have had the opportunity to give back to Gainesville like that without the church, and all the wonderful organizations that set up these opportunities here. Equally rewarding was all the help we were able to provide during our work tours to the Keys and to Puerto Rico that wouldn't have been possible without Talia and all of you supporting us. This church does so much incredible work for the community, and I think growing up around people who want to help so much has really shaped me as a person. I was on ONA, the Open and Affirming Committee, at the beginning of high school, and that gave me the confidence to speak to adults, to offer my ideas in meetings, and to know that my opinion and voice are important and will be listened to. It also gave me the confidence to stand up for myself and others at school. Pride was also incredibly important to me growing up. Having UCG be a part of the parade and having Pride Sunday and having so much support for LGBTQ people in the wider Gainesville community here at UCG had me growing up knowing that being queer was normal and okay, and realizing I was queer was not scary at all. But I think the most important part of my experience at UCG is the group of people I'm graduating with. I've grown up with them, and I've known some of them since we were babies, as I'm sure you'll see in pictures later. I have so many treasured memories with them, playing Monopoly for an hour after group ended, weirdly aggressive nighttime capture the glow stick, stargazing during church on the prairie, literally every single minute of retreat, suffering in Atlanta in 10-degree weather, huddled up in our sleeping bags with 4 layers of pants on, snorkeling in Puerto Rico and getting super sunburned, wandering around Key West together, and even the long, long drives back to UCG from those trips wouldn't have been nearly as much fun without them. I want to thank you all for being such amazing friends, and I can't imagine a better group of people to have had these experiences with. And I want to take this chance to thank you all for your commitment to this church and all the principles it stands for constantly and consistently helping and supporting the Gainesville community, and for helping teach and show the youth of the UCG what it means to be good people. Thank you.
be your levee. You are taking me apart like bad glue on a get well card. It was always you falling for me. Now there's always time calling for me. I'm the light blinking at the end of the road. Blink back to let me know. I'm a fly that's trapped in a web, and I'm thinking that my spider's dead. Lonely, lonely little life. I could kid myself in thinking that I'm fine. It was always you calling for me. Now there's always time falling for me. I'm the light blinking at the end of the road. Blink back to let me know that I'm skin and bone, just a king and a rusty throne. Oh, the castle's under siege, but the sign outside says, leave me alone. It was always you calling for me. Now there's always time calling for me. I'm the light blinking at the end of the road. Blink back to let me know. Blink back to let me know.
Throughout my childhood, there are many people who have come and left from my life. People who move away, go to different schools, and sometimes simply don't keep in touch after a while. However, being at this church, I've been able to see people I met when I was 4 years old grow up into adults. This is the only place I know where I've been able to see that. The youth program we have for preschoolers, elementary schoolers, middle schoolers, and high schoolers deserves a lot of appreciation. They've been able to help me become the person I am today. Going on the work tours and mystery trips was a special experience, as we actively got to help those who were in need and also get to know the different cultures at those places. I would like to thank Larry Reimer for teaching me how to play the trumpet and help facilitate my playing ability. I couldn't have made it as far or been that good with that instrument if it weren't for him. And I would like to thank this church for being so accepting of others and people. This is the only church I know which would accept a bisexual man like me. And I would like to thank them for welcoming everyone, regardless of race, gender identity, sexual orientation, or even religion. Thank you.
So in case you don't know me, I'm Jillian. This year I'm going to be graduating from the IB program at Eastside, and in the fall I will be attending Rollins College. I plan to major in marine biology, but I'm not entirely sure what I want to do after that. My original plan was to go on to get a doctorate in zoology and then travel the world doing cool things like research and rescuing animals and saving the environment, until one day the Queen, or whoever's like in charge of England at that time, decides, wow, that person's real cool, and decides to knight me. And then my name would be like 3 cool titles all in one: Sir, Dr., Provost. Yes, I would make people call me that.
And I could retire to my cottage in the middle of the woods with my rescue animals and my garden and everything. And all the children in the village nearby would secretly think I'm a witch. And every once in a while, I would kind of like accidentally leave out my broomstick or make some soup in a big cauldron just to kind of keep the myth alive. But then my grandma pointed out to me that I'd be a dame and not a sir. And Dame Doctor just does not sound as cool. So that kind of ruined that plan. But in all seriousness, I do want to do something important with my life, probably something in the lines of environmental conservation or animal protection. I want to help make this world a better place because, sadly, it's a little bit messed up at this point. I want to thank all of you for being such a kind and supportive community, one that I can say that I'm really, truly proud to be a part of. This is a church that does things right by promoting love and acceptance and celebration of everybody and helping the community in any way we can, and I've learned so much. And I'm just so grateful for everything that I've been able to do here and everything that you've taught me and everything that you've given me. So thank you very much for everything.
Hello. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Ian Ragsdale, and I'm graduating from Gainesville High School this year. This fall, I'll be attending Florida State University while I'll major in something, not too terribly sure yet. I've been coming to UCG since the first or second grade, since the Bachmans convinced us to join. And since then, I've been given so many invaluable opportunities through music and education and service, all shaping me to become the person I am today. And while I could go on and on about all these meaningful experiences I've had on work tour and with Family Promise, or playing music with the all-church band, or just hanging out with my youth group people, I would just like to use my time today to thank a non-exclusive list of people who played a meaningful role in my life. So Larry Reimer, for all your wisdom, patience, and countless opportunities to play music with other people, and all of the people I've gotten the privilege to play with in the past. Taylor Stein, for helping me through confirmation, and for sharing your humor and life experiences. The ministers, all throughout my time here, even the ones I haven't gotten the privilege of knowing as well, for providing a safe place for growth. All of my friends in youth group, I've had so many good experiences with. Evelyn, my sister, for always having my back and being my best friend. And most of all, my mom and my dad, for being my #1 supporters from day one, and always giving me so much energy and love and space to grow. I love you guys, all of you. Thank you, UCG, for the love and acceptance you have given me. You will always be a part of my family. Thank you.
Yesterday when you were young, everything you needed done was done for you. Now you do it on your own, but you find you're all alone. What can you do? You and me, walk on, walk on, walk on, 'cause you can't go back now. You know there will be days when you're so tired that you can't take another step. The night will have no stars, and you'll think you've gone as far as you will ever get. But you and me, walk on, walk on, walk on, 'cause you can't go back now. And yeah, go where you wanna go. wishes they were somewhere else. But in the end, the only steps that matter are the ones you take all by yourself. And you and me walk on, walk on, walk on. Yeah, you and me walk on, walk on, walk on. 'Cause you can't go back now. Walk on, walk on, walk on. You can't go back now.
We may not yet have reached our glory, but I will gladly join the fight. And when our children tell their story, they'll tell the story of tonight. They'll tell the story of tonight. Tonight.
Have you ever felt like nobody was there? Have you ever felt forgotten in the middle of nowhere? Have you ever felt like you could disappear? Like you could fall and no one would hear?
Well, let that lonely feeling wash away.
All we see is light.
'Cause maybe there's a reason to believe you'll be okay. 'Cause when you don't feel strong enough to stand, you can reach out your hand and hold.
Raise a glass to freedom, something they can never take away. No matter what they tell you,
someone will come running to take you home.
Raise a glass to all of us. Tomorrow there'll be more of us, telling the story of tonight.
Out of the shadows, the morning is breaking, and all is new.
All is new.
All is new.
It's only a matter of time. Even when the dark comes crashing through, when you need a friend to carry you, when you're broken on the ground, you will be found. So let the sun come streaming in, 'cause you'll reach up and you'll rise again. If you only look around, you will be found. And when our children tell their story,
you will be found.
They'll tell the story of tonight.
Whoa.
No matter what they tell you,
tomorrow there'll be more of us,
telling the story of tonight. The story of tonight.
Comes to an end. I'm out here on my journey, trying to make the most of it. I'm a puzzle, I must figure out where all my pieces fit. Like a poor wayfaring stranger that they speak about in song, I'm just a weary pilgrim trying to find what feels like home. Where that is, no one can tell me. Am I doomed to ever roam? I'm just traveling, traveling, traveling. I'm just traveling on. Questions I have many, answers but a few. But we're here to learn, the spirit burns to know the greater truth. We've all been crucified and they nailed Jesus to the tree. And when I'm born again, you're gonna see a change in me. God made me for a reason and nothing is in vain. just traveling, traveling, traveling. I'm just traveling through. Or sometimes the road is rugged and it's hard to travel on. But holding to each other, we don't have to walk alone. When everything is broken, we can mend it if we try. We can make a world of difference if we want to. We can fly. Goodbye, little children. Good night, you handsome men. Farewell to all you ladies and to all who knew me when. And I hope I'll see you down the road. You meant more than I knew as I was traveling, 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 traveling through. I'm just traveling, traveling, traveling. I'm just traveling. Drifting like a floating boat and roaming like the wind. Oh, give me some direction, Lord. Let me lean on you as I'm traveling, traveling, traveling through. I'm just traveling, traveling, traveling. I'm just traveling through. I'm just traveling, traveling, traveling. I'm just traveling through. Like the poor wayfaring stranger that they speak about in song. I'm just a weary pilgrim trying to find my own way home. Oh, sweet Jesus, if you're out there, keep me ever close to you as I'm traveling, 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 as I'm traveling through. Traveling so I'm just traveling through. I'm just traveling
We want to take an opportunity to bestow just a small gift and a large blessing upon our graduates before we send them out. And so if you would, when I call your name, come forward, and maybe Brahmi will hand you your bag, and we'll have you stand right here, and we will bless you on your journey. All right, Judah Bachman. And Tess Lindahl. Lift up James Dickens, Joe Frenchman, and Jet Hill, all who are not able to be with us this morning. Eden, Ivan. And Anya, Julian. Xander Hecker. Jillian Provost.
Ian Ragsdale. And Avery Spurbeck, who is also unable to be here today. All right.
So before we let you go, we have a gift for you and a few parting words. First, our gift. We are happy to give you the book that you will find in your bags. It is a book called Life Prayers. As surely as you have all grown up through this church, you have heard the prayers and the inspired wisdom that has been offered from this book. It is a various assortment of writings and prayers and poems from a diversity of people and traditions. So take these books and use them as you will. Read their pages for inspiration or simply to sit down to remember your good friends and your family here at the United Church of Gainesville. We give you this gift not as a parting prize, but as a tool and a reminder to keep your life sacred and to help bring your spirit back home.
You will also find a journal. This is a reminder to record your journey, treasure the learnings, the joys, and the sorrows of this time, for there is nothing quite like this moment in life. If you're a creature of habit, set a time each day to simply check in with yourself. If you're not, like me, keep it close, waiting at the ready for your observations. That great line your friend busted out with, that great line you unexpectedly encountered in your reading, that insight you had when you had just 10 minutes before an appointment. Becoming a writer is about learning to listen and learning to see. But of course, that is also a good part of what becoming a person, fully alive, is all about too.
As you enter into this new part of your journeys, your minds will be transformed, renewed, and opened up in exciting ways. As you go out from this place, carry with you the blessings you have received from these people and from this spiritual community. But also know that we will always treasure the blessings that each of you have given to us. Your gift of music and of laughter, your hard work and compassion, your willingness to try new things, meet new people, and represent our church on all the adventures of life. We are so proud of you and all the things you have achieved, and we are so grateful for you and all the gifts you have given to us. In your bag, there is a photo of this sanctuary. Remember that we are here, and we will continue to be a place of safety and refuge for you wherever you go, near or far. You can always come home again. And now, our senior class receive this blessing, and while we're not laying on of hands, if at some point you feel called to raise your hand in blessing towards our graduates, I know they will feel the love and blessing all the same.
So receive this blessing. Creator God, parent of us all, we give thanks for these graduates who stand here this morning on the brink of a significant passage in their lives. We are grateful for the blessing that they are to us and the joy that we have had in watching them grow and mature and blossom in our midst.
Bless their parents and caregivers for the love and support, the patience and the faithfulness that they have given throughout the years to these, their children.
Bless the grown people of this church who nurtured these young ones with understanding and encouragement in united tribes, in music and leadership, in youth groups, on retreats, overnights, and work tours throughout their journey of faith.
And may they have faith in you, O God, however you are known to them, as the firm foundation of their lives. And may the hands and the prayers of the people of this church always hold them in love.
We pray that you may continue to grow in heart, mind, and soul. May you balance challenge and adventure with steadiness and wisdom. May you continue to build and find deep friendships and new networks of support. And may you know that this community of faith, your United Church of Gainesville, will always be here, with doors flung wide in welcome, whether you return each week, each year, or by the blessings bestowed on your hearts. Most of all, we pray the deepest prayer of our hearts. Keep them safe, O God. Let your light shine upon them and within them all of their days, wherever they may go. Amen. We love you. And now I invite you to rise in body or in spirit or both as we sing our closing song together.
During the singing of Alleluia, graduates, if you would follow me out, we're going to line up along the brick wall near the office so that you may come and congratulate your graduates in person this year. And now receive this word of blessing. Go forth from this place, blessed and whole, supported and gifted. And as you go on the next steps in your journey, go with love on your mind, with compassion in your heart, and with the peace of the Holy Spirit guiding your footsteps today and each day forevermore. Go in peace. Amen.